So, what if I told you there's a book out there that's so controversial it's actually been banned in prisons? Yet at the same time, it's considered essential reading in places like Hollywood and the music industry. Well, today we're diving deep into Robert Greene's infamous The 48 Laws of Power, a modern day guide to influence that people have called everything from brilliant to downright diabolical. This question really gets to the core of why this book makes so many people uncomfortable. We're often taught that wanting power is, well, it's a bad thing, that it's something that corrupts people. But Greene's whole argument starts with a different question. What if ignoring the reality of power is the most dangerous thing you can do? And right from the get-go, Greene hits you with this. It's a pretty bold claim, right? He's basically saying that learning how power works doesn't turn you into a bad person. Quite the opposite. He argues it makes you more effective, more aware, and just plain better at navigating the world as it is, not how we wish it were. Okay, so this is a really dense book. How are we going to break it all down? Here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the unspoken game the book is all about. Then, we'll get into Greene's core philosophy. After that, we'll simplify all 48 laws into three main themes, talk about the true art of power, and we'll wrap up with a big question for you to think about. So, what is this central idea, this unspoken game? Well, it all starts with one single premise you have to accept. Power is a game. And it's not a game you can choose to sit out. It's a constant dynamic that's happening all around us all the time, whether we like it or not. Greene's point is that trying to opt out of the power game isn't some noble moral stance. It's just naive. It leaves you totally vulnerable. It's kind of like trying to cross a busy highway while pretending cars don't exist. You're much better off learning the rules of the road than ending up as a pawn, getting crushed by players who actually understand how the game is played. Okay, so if power isn't about being a bully or using brute force, what is it? I think when we hear power, we picture someone being loud, aggressive, and dominant. But that's really a big misunderstanding of what Greene is talking about. His whole philosophy is way more subtle, way more clever than that. The magic word here is indirection. This is the skill you need to master. Think about a great pool player. They know that sometimes the best shot isn't the direct one. Sometimes you have to bounce the cue ball off a cushion to sink your target. That's indirection. It's about social grace, not open warfare. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Greene says it himself, right in the preface. This book isn't a manual for becoming some kind of dictator. It's a handbook on strategy. It's about learning the subtle currents of human nature so you can navigate life with purpose and, believe it or not, with grace. Now, trying to make sense of all 48 laws one by one can feel like a lot. So instead of doing that, we're going to group them into three big recurring themes. When you look at it this way, you start to see the real pattern behind Greene's ideas. All right, theme number one is all about perception, your image. A huge chunk of this book is dedicated to this one idea. How people see you is often way more important than what's actually true. Power is, in so many ways, a performance. Let's look at a few of these. Law 1, never outshine the master, isn't telling you to be bad at your job. It's saying make your boss feel smart and secure, because that's what makes them trust you. Law 5, guard your reputation, is more relevant now than ever, right? In the age of the internet, your public image is everything. And then there's Law 34, be royal in your own fashion. This is the ultimate fake it till you make it. Carry yourself with unshakable confidence, and people will start to treat you like you're worthy of it. The second big theme is about being strategic with your resources, your energy, your words, your plans. It's about playing smarter, not just harder. It means knowing when to keep your mouth shut and realizing that not every fight is worth fighting, especially not directly. For example, Law 3, conceal your intentions. Think about a negotiation. The second you reveal exactly what you want, you've just given away all your leverage. And Law 7, okay, that one sounds really ruthless, doesn't it? But think of it this way. It's about leadership and efficiency. A great film director gets credit for a movie that hundreds of people worked on. It's about orchestrating the efforts of a team. And this quote from Thomas Edison is the perfect example of Law 7. He wasn't saying he was a shoplifter. He was saying he knew how to take existing ideas, things other people had started, and build on them to create something truly revolutionary. That is what this law is really about. Okay, our final theme is about seeing the world as a giant chessboard. It means you always have to be thinking a few moves ahead. And, maybe most importantly, you absolutely have to understand what motivates the other players on the board. These laws are pure human psychology.
Law 13 says if you need a favor, don't talk about your needs or their kindness. Figure out what's in it for them. It's not cynical, it's just realistic. And Law 24, Play the Perfect Courtier, is basically a masterclass in social intelligence. It's about knowing how to read a room, when to speak up, when to stay quiet, and how to make people around you feel comfortable and important.
I absolutely love this metaphor from the book. It just captures the idea so perfectly. Relying on someone's gratitude is like holding onto a single thin thread. It can snap at any moment. But when you build a relationship on what benefits you both, well, that's like a thick rope. It's strong, durable, and it's not going to break easily.
So, what do we get when we put it all together? When you weave together these ideas of managing your image, conserving your energy, and thinking like a chess master, you get to the real, ultimate lesson of the book. See, in the end, mastering power isn't really about controlling other people. It's about mastering yourself. It's about controlling your own emotions, being adaptable enough to change your approach for any situation, and always thinking about the long-term results of your actions. You're both the actor and the director in the movie of your own life.
And that's the thing. This book isn't just a collection of cool stories from history. It kind of forces you to look in the mirror, to think about your own life, your own ambitions, and how you interact with people. And that brings us to the final and most important question.
So, what is this book? Is it a dark, Machiavellian guide on how to manipulate your way to the top? Or is it a warning? A field guide to help you spot these tactics when they're being used against you so you can actually defend yourself? The truth is, it's probably both. And the choice of how you use that knowledge, well, that's entirely up to you.